Good morning and welcome to Coffee Ann, the longest-running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question of the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocket.radio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee Ann panel.
And a good morning to you. It is time for Coffee Ann here on ON, AM, and FM. Nice of you to join us this morning. I'm Joe Callahan. With me at the Coffee Ann table, we'll say good morning to Attorney Bob Lauder. Good morning to you there, Bob.
Good morning. Good to be with you.
And we expect Sue Tessier-McKenzie from the Blackstone Valley Call and Times to be joining us.
With a dramatic entrance.
At any time. That's right.
Well, she always comes in looking so great.
Well, that's true. So, and we look forward to her entrances.
Yes.
Now, 2 weeks ago, I asked Bob this legal question, and it had to do, because, stuff I see on law television shows. And it was about kids under 18, minors, getting emancipated from their parents. And I just want to know, how prevalent was it? Have there been any cases in Rhode Island? And like that. So Bob did a little research, and what'd you find out?
I found out that emancipation in Rhode Island usually refers to child support issues. Mm-hmm. And the court is very reluctant to say to a parent who has an obligation to pay child support that you can stop at any time before the statutory age of 18, or if the child is still in school, the child support continues until 19. And in the event of a disabled child, it can go even further. The only emancipation cases I could find dealt back to the 1920s, wow. And the law has changed a lot since then. Mm-hmm. I don't see any emancipation cases where a child has gone into court, or a parent of a child has gone into court and said, okay, the child is 16 years old and is able to handle things on their own, and we want to be relieved of the obligation of taking care of the child. I would think that the kind of case that would arise in is much more like what I understood was the Britney Spears case, where she was earning a great deal of money because she was a very popular child actress and singer, and she had not yet reached the age of 18. Mm-hmm. And in those cases, a parent would go into court and say, okay, our child who wants to enter into these various contracts with movie producers or things like that doesn't have the legal authority to sign contracts, and therefore we want to have a conservator appointed for her. They will have the legal authority to sign the contracts and also have the legal authority to maintain records as to what's happening with her money, report back to the court as to what we're doing with it, and preserve the money for her benefit. So I see that kind of thing happening, a conservatorship for a under 18-year-old individual who is earning or has access to significant sums of money. But I don't see emancipation for a child going into court and saying, hey, I'm 16 years old, I got my driver's license, and I don't want to live with mom and dad anymore, and I want to relieve them of the obligations. I don't see a court doing that. Not in Rhode Island.
Okay, well, what about the case that goes back to the 1920s? Is that what they were doing then?
It was more along the lines of a child having the independence. I think that case was to go out and get a job. Mm-hmm. But work laws were a lot different in the 1920s than they are right now. Mm-hmm. So I would not see that happening now either.
Okay. So it's basically for entertainment purposes that they put it on TV and that kind of thing.
Yeah,
so
that's fun.
Okay. It's just fun to kick around.
Are you... Well, you passed the age of emancipation.
I have,
okay.
So I can't be emancipated anymore.
No. Okay, your parents gave you up as soon as they could?
At 18, you're out of here.
Okay.
So if your cell phone is not working today, you can't make a phone call, you can't receive a phone call, you can't send a text, you're not seeing your emails on your phone, it's not your phone. There's an issue going on nationwide with the big carriers. We're not sure how it started. It started overnight, and they're working on it, as they always say. So,
but it's more than one carrier, correct?
Yeah, AT&T and Verizon and T-Mobile. So there's a few of them that are involved. So.
Do they think that it's some type of deliberate attack by an outside source? Or?
A little too early to think to make that assumption just yet. So maybe, but you can't tell right now.
Now I wonder.
First we fix the problem, then we look at why it happened.
Now, do people who have landlines have that same problem?
No, that's different.
AT&T provides service for landlines.
They do. Mm-hmm. Or they go through the local phone company of that area, like a Verizon or Cox here in Rhode Island. So if you have a landline, you're okay. But like a lot of us, I dropped my landline 10 years ago, maybe even longer.
No, man. Some of us still cling to the landlines. Some of us still wish they were princess phones. But
Oh my God, are you showing your age?
don't say that.
But well, the decision was made. I said, we don't use the landline. Mm-hmm. We don't use the landline. So why are we paying to have it? And the only time we got calls on the landline was a telemarketer.
Okay, well, at least you have one friend.
Oh, you're a funny guy, Bob. All right, but anyway, so it was just no use. So, but the majority of people, I think now, don't have landline.
Whoa!
Unless you're Bob, of course, who has one right here. Hello there,
Wow.
Sue.
This is a fantastic outfit.
I
Made
feel
her-
like I don't walk in. I kind of strut.
You strut in.
Just
like-
for Bob though,
Yeah.
because
Just, I have arrived.
I'm here.
For those of us who aren't watching on television, tell us how gorgeous this is. It's a serape type shawl in
Oh, good
white,
description.
gray, and black, with black outfit underneath, and
Black gloves.
big jewelry that is gray and black with little diamonds on it. Whoa!
It all matches, Sue.
It looks
Of course
good.
it does. I'm that person that won't even wear two blues together if they're not
Oh, no?
exact blues.
You know, my daughter, who's fashion conscious right
Yeah.
now, gets very upset with me if I'm wearing blue jeans
Yeah.
and my blue jean jacket. You're wearing jeans and jeans, Dad.
Well,
That's a-
they
that's
say
a
that
faux
you
pas.
Can. No, they say
No?
that you can.
Oh, I can. Oh, okay.
Yes,
If?
that's one of the newest things. I have a problem with the color of top and bottom.
Well, it was blue.
No.
Yes, it is.
No, just
No.
that grays aren't grays and
All
blacks
right.
aren't blacks. They do have
Well,
subtle
okay.
undertones.
The jacket is a darker blue, more of a sky. Well, not even sky blue, just dark blue, like a navy. And the jeans are a little faded. So there is some change.
That may be a faux pas.
Oh well. But then I watched some music video of the late Toby Keith. Look at it, he's up on stage. He's wearing a jean jacket and
Jean
jeans. I'm
jacket
like,
and
there
jeans.
you go, and
No,
a cowboy
it's
hat.
definitely
So-
not out.
All right,
They
all right.
say you can definitely do jean head to toe.
So Sue, where do you stand on having a landline? I don't have one. Bob still has his.
I do not have one. I had one
There you go, 2 out of
because
3.
yep, Cox was making you get one. It was a bundle, and it would have been cheaper to get the phone.
Mm-hmm.
So we got the phone. I
And you
could
never
not
use it.
tell you my phone number. I could not tell you anything about it because it was just there.
Yeah.
And then I unplugged it, disconnected it. Well, not officially disconnected. I just never
Never
used it.
Okay. Did you get calls on it though? Like. you
Oh
know-
yeah, they would call. I would get calls,
telemarketers?
and it would go through the screen.
Oh, okay.
But because I never gave my number to anybody,
Yeah,
it was
who's-
nobody
it's not
that I
gonna be a
cared
f-
about.
Not gonna
so,
be a friend of yours, huh?
right?
Okay. So there you go, Bob. You know, everyone's got their different reasons for not using a landline.
And everybody has the reason for using a landline.
Yes, and the big benefit of still having a landline, and I heard this years ago when we were getting rid of it. They said, well, okay, but if you have to call 911, it takes a few extra seconds on your cell phone to get to the emergency people.
Yes.
Like with mine, for instance, and I've done it before, when I've called 911 from my cell phone, it goes to Framingham, Massachusetts. And then they ask me, what town are you in? And then they reroute me back to Mansfield to get to someone says, okay, do you need fire, police, or medical?
Right.
On a landline, it's much more instantaneous.
Yes.
There's that 5 seconds is going away. It would go right to Mansfield.
how long
you also
ago
go
was
right to
that?
Woonsocket. At least 10 years. And maybe
So
things
that
have
may have
changed.
changed. I believe it did change.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's been a while since I've had to call 911, which is a good thing.
Good.
Okay. There we go. I don't know how we got. Oh, there's an outage of cell phones across the country. So in case you can't make a call or get a text,
AT&T.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're
I
having their.
read that this morning.
They're having their issues. All right, other things going on newsworthy wise. Well, if you're gonna steal 10 cases of tequila,
Whoa.
you're probably gonna get caught because the liquor store owner is gonna notice that 10 cases of tequila is missing.
Now,
'Cause
is the
it's worth-
store owner going to notice that because it's not in stock or because you're staggering away from the store with a smile?
That's always a joke. Oh, they stole it because they were going to go drink it. No, if you're stealing 10 cases of tequila, you're going to start selling the bottles. That's what I think. But this took place. I bring it up. It took place down in West Greenwich, only because it was a Woonsocket man that was sentenced to stealing the tequila, and he worked there.
Well, I'm glad he decided not to steal from people in Woonsocket. We
okay.
appreciate that.
The tequila was worth just under $3,000.
Wow.
Wow.
So he was stealing the good tequila.
Probably the Patron.
No, Don
Quixote something.
Don Julio tequila. Like Patron, but a little different. But part of it was, so it's him and a buddy that doesn't work there, and they're loading the tequila into a truck to drive it away. When another employee sees what's going on, and hey, stop that, and like that. And so now the man that was convicted drove the forklift at the other employee, so the van could get away, or the truck could get away that was stealing the tequila.
Oh my God.
Okay.
You will not stop this little enterprise that we have going on.
Oh, and you're not going to get caught either, right?
Well, yeah,
Required a little bit more planning, I think, on his
Well, you would
part.
think so, and not to steal it while there were other employees around. That would have been a smart thing to do.
You think?
Now, the man from Woonsocket, his name is Brendan Fang. He has been released on bail, and he will be sentenced in May.
Okay.
So, and this took place, by the way, in 3
In May,
years
on Cinco
ago.
de Mayo.
That's funny, especially since it's Don Julio tequila. But this theft took place back in 2021.
Okay.
The wheels of justice turn so slowly. Wow.
There are so many cases that
Yeah.
are brought before the court, and the Attorney General's office has a limited number of staff people. They can't do things as quickly as they do on television.
All right. So that's what happened to him. But he is out on bail right now. I hope he's not a flight risk. And sentencing will happen in May. With something like this, you think he'd get time served and probation and pay back the $3,000 that he stole, because he probably can't get back the tequila. So pay back the $3,000 and the tequila.
I think it's something probably along those lines. I'm not sure he's going to get particularly long incarceration. No.
Yeah.
So how long? So he's stealing tequila on a Monday. The employee knows it's him that did it, obviously.
How do you know it's a
How
Monday?
long? I'm just guessing.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
just
All right.
stating a day.
Okay.
So does it on a Monday, and they know who he is. They know what he did. How could they not already still have the tequila? I mean, if you know.
Well, okay. It just doesn't say in the press release if the tequila was recovered.
Okay.
So I don't know. Maybe the person maybe they didn't get the license plate of the van or the truck, and they drove off to Massachusetts or Connecticut, and they start immediately dispersing it out, so we can't find it. I don't know.
Yeah.
You also don't know whether or not the store would accept it back. If you were to not steal something, if you went to a local store and bought a carton of cream cheese and took it home and then said, gee, I don't really like this, and tried to bring it back to the store is not going to accept it back. They don't know if you've adulterated the cream cheese or if you've allowed it to be in the sun too long and stuff like that. So I don't know whether or not the liquor store would have accepted back the bottles of tequila.
As I read down further in the press release, he did not steal it from a liquor store. He stole it from the distributor.
Same issue.
Would
the
they
distributor
take it
accept
back?
I
Okay.
don't know.
And maybe that's why they were thinking, if there's a bunch of trucks and we're all loading liquors into trucks to go be delivered somewhere, maybe no one will question me putting 10 cases of tequila into this other truck over here, because
Right.
this is what we do here. But
Could be.
someone caught on.
Plan
I
didn't
guess.
work.
No,
Not the one you and I are going to
Because-
follow to try and
no.
get rich.
because here's where they possibly went wrong. They were loading the vehicle 11:15 at night.
Well, there you go.
That might be, maybe they're not a 24-hour distribution place and say, hey,
There's a
what's
clue.
going on here? This doesn't normally happen, kind of thing. So there you go. 2,900. Where's the exact amount? $2,936.66.
People will steal anything if they can sell it.
If you can go online, I'm selling bottles of tequila at less than what the liquor store is selling
Yeah.
it. I don't know what a bottle of tequila goes for nowadays. Maybe $20, $25. Hey, I got a deal for you. 10.
Now, wait a minute. You and I are walking down the street. This guy comes along and says, "Hey, I got some bottles of tequila. Are you going to open your wallet and give him
Oh
anything?"
God, no! I
I
wouldn't.
don't think they're doing it that way, Bob.
Yeah, right, right.
Well, I was trying to cast dispersions on your
I know.
appearance
I will not,
of honesty, but
They're not going to set up like a lemonade stand.
Yeah, right.
Tequila. It
With
might,
no, it's with or without.
it might raise some eyebrows.
I remember when my cousin was in the hospital and had received OxyContin that she didn't use, and I suggested that
Selling it?
we could sell it on this, and she suggested that my appearance on the sidewalk is not going to engender anybody to buy anything from me, other than the fact that the police will come along and question my morals and integrity.
All right. We're going to take our first break here on the Coffee and program. More coming up. You can call in comments and questions at 766-1240.
For an Allstate agent, providing protection options that fit your life is something they take, well, personally. Allstate agents are committed to learning about your needs and helping customize protection to meet them. From bundling your home and auto insurance with ease to evaluating optional coverage, your Allstate agent can help build an insurance proposal that fits your life. And just as important as learning what you need is learning what you don't. Because helping you get coverage you want with savings you deserve is what Allstate is all about. It's time to get coverage that's catered to you. Are you in good hands? Call Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. One agency, two locations in North Smithfield and Bellingham. One telephone number, 765-5000. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Allstate Property and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
The Coffee and Panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee Roasters. All their coffee is roasted right here in Rhode Island. Down East Coffee Roasters is available at all Little General stores.
Have you heard of Scott McGee with Remax Properties? He's been selling real estate in Rhode Island and Massachusetts for the last 17 years, and you can see that he loves what he does. Scott, as well as his team, take pride in what they call the fair and honest team. No gimmicks. And no, they're not buying your house if it doesn't sell, etc. Just fair and honest real estate. Scott personally works with tons of sellers and buyers and specializes in residential properties as well as commercial, and he's always very fair and offers super competitive rates. Remember, this is probably the biggest move in dollars that you will ever spend or receive. You want to go with a trusted and experienced agent. Scott is fair, honest, and modest, always puts the clients first, and he also dealt with literally almost any situation. You really need to look at your real estate needs as a business. You want to pay and get the right money now so that you're not paying for it later. Trust me. So why not give Scott McGee a call at 401-639-2906. That's 401-639-2906.
All right, it's Coffee and on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. This is Joe Callahan here with Bob Lauder and Sue Tessier-McKenzie from the Blackstone Valley Call-in-Times, and Sue has something in her mouth. So we're going to come back to Sue in just a minute. We did get a note called in. Hats off to Providence College with the win last night against Xavier. That gives them 18 wins on the season. 2 more, they get to 20, and once you get to 20, you can move on to the tournament. Bob's got deer in the headlights. He has no idea what I'm talking about.
And none whatsoever. What's March Madness, Bob?
Yeah,
Is that before you pay your taxes?
yeah, close enough. It's the playoffs for men's basketball.
Okay,
It's
good,
called,
good, good.
It's called the dance. It's called the
They
big
call
dance.
it
It's
the
called,
dance.
We're going to the dance, yeah.
Basketball is
64 teams go to the dance.
Wow, fantastic.
To get down to 1.
All right.
But if you get to 20 wins, you're not assured of it, but basically you're one of the better teams in the country, and you will probably go.
And PC is one.
Well,
Fantastic.
they're 2 games away from getting to that magic number of 20. So
How
with
many more
about,
games do they have to play
4
before?
or 5. So
All right.
they should make it. So yay for PC.
Fantastic.
All
And
right.
it doesn't take as long as football to get to that point. It's
Right.
much quicker.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this segment of Coffee is sponsored by the Blackstone Valley Call-in-Times. What do you have to say about them?
Well, first off, the new move to the new office it's been really going well.
Good.
We finally have papers being delivered to our new offices. We had to, stop it. We had to cancel it while we were out of the building. But now they're back, so anybody's missing a daily edition of the paper, a back edition, by all means, give us a call. You can stop into the office or give us a call at I'll give you my cell phone, 487-4136, or you can call circulation at 767-8522.
All right there, Sue. Thank you very much. PC doing well. URI basketball, men's basketball, not doing so well. They probably won't go. You know who did well, though? Rhode Island College girls basketball had an undefeated season.
Yep.
Wow. Good for them. Now, they're not the same division as PC. They're in Division 3. Colleges go 1, 2, 3. But I'm sure they're going for the Little East Championship. That's where they play. So, hey, good for them.
Good for them.
Wow,
That's right.
That's super.
Let me tell you something weird.
Okay.
Back when I was at URI, back in the 1960s as a student, I was a photographer for the student newspaper. I get to go to the basketball games.
For free.
I get to sit where
Oh,
the players
courtside.
play.
Yeah.
I get to sit underneath the basket.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was doing. I just took photographs whenever anybody jumped toward the basket. It was great.
Were people happy with your photos?
Yeah, they loved the photos.
It's a great job, Bob.
Yeah,
All right.
Did-
I had no idea what I was taking pictures of.
Well, it's funny because there was a guy, a football game recently, the guy was taking pictures, and the player managed to jump right over him.
I saw that.
Did
yes.
you see?
Yes.
Was it during the Super Bowl?
I believe so,
Could've
yes.
been.
It might
Yeah.
have been. If Bob saw it, it must have been because I think that's the only
That's
game
the only
he
game
said
I
he
watched.
watches. So.
Anybody jump over you?
No.
Okay,
no, I
so
didn't
you
get
didn't
jumped
you
over.
didn't get kicked or anything like
Nope.
that? The ball didn't hit you or hit your camera?
Nope.
Did you only do basketball?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Did you like it?
I had a good time. Yeah.
Okay. You didn't feel like going into photography? Law was calling you?
Well, back in those days, we did photography with negatives in a dark room.
Well, yeah,
It's
yes,
changed a little bit over the
Well,
years.
it's a lot more digital now.
Yeah, you know I don't keep up with those kind
Oh,
of things.
well, all right. It's funny that you bring that up because when I went to school in Idaho,
Right?
one of the guys I met out there did the same thing. He was a photographer on the court and enjoyed it very much. However, when that team didn't go to the big dance, they went to the one that's lower, the NIT tournament, and they hosted a game on campus. And students were allowed during the season. We got free tickets to go to the game during the regular season, but because this was a playoff game, they had to charge the students. But I mean, it was $2
Okay.
for the tickets. Incredibly reasonable when other people, the general public, was playing probably 10 at the time, which is still reasonable. But back then, for a student to pay $2 for a ticket, I thought, oh, that's nothing. Oh, great. But my friend that was the photographer, because it was a playoff game, he couldn't get the credentials to be on the floor to photograph it. He'd have to sit with the rest of us. He wouldn't go to the game because he had to pay $2.
Wow.
Absolutely not. And so he didn't go. I said, "Oh, you're gonna miss out." And it was a sold out game, and it was a great game. It was a lot of fun, and he missed it. So,
Darn.
but that's cool. Did you move around a lot? Did you go
Yeah.
from this side of the court to that side of the court, and back and forth? And
Well, usually I was on the URI side of the court, but yeah.
okay, and just follow the ball, right?
Yeah.
Oh, very good. Speaking of URI, their tuition is going up.
Surprise. I'm sorry.
Not really.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
The Board of Trustees approved an increase 3.6%. Doesn't sound like a lot, but
I have no idea what tuition down there is now. And
assume right now for in-state, assume $20,000.
wow. Okay. And that does not
And that-
include dormitories or anything like that.
No, that's just tuition.
It has
No
gone
books.
up over the years.
Yeah. So it's 3.6 for in-state and 3.9 for out-of-state students.
Wow.
So yeah, it doesn't sound like a lot, but it adds up. So tuition increase is necessary. They continue seeking additional state aid to ensure URI is within financial reach for students. Teacher salaries, staff salaries go up all the time. So, I can understand that. I'm surprised what's not here is usually if URI's tuition goes up, Rhode Island College and CCRI go
Follow.
up at the same time.
I would expect so, yeah.
So that may come today or next week or
Yeah.
something like that. Oh, if they're going up, we want to go up too. So
Now,
All
they,
right.
they raising up at Boise State?
I have no idea what the tuition is there.
Darn, man.
I'm not there anymore, and so plus my deal was, I had to pay my in-state tuition, so I paid Rhode Island College my money,
And then
but,
they
but I
s-
paid their room and board.
Okay,
that's how it
you
worked.
Rhode Island College sent you 3,000 miles away.
No, they didn't.
Is this
They didn't send me.
is this sort of a sign as to what kind of a student he might have been?
I was a great
Let's
student.
get him off the campus and get him out west somewhere.
Right?
Jeez,
That was
man.
my choice to go out there. I chose that school.
Yeah, because if you went 3,000 miles easter in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean,
Well, it was
and,
only
you know, it's
only 2,800 miles, but
2,800 miles. Okay.
But who's counting?
who's counting?
Yeah, whoa.
It was a long flight, though. Let me tell you.
Let me ask Sue a question.
Mm-hmm.
I drove by your office the other day, the new building, the Liberty Building. I didn't see a sign for the Blackstone Valley Call-in
We
Times.
don't have one that fits. So the way the windows, again, this is much of the building is still original.
Right.
Yes, things have been improved inside, but there's still traces of back in the day kind of stuff. One of them is the windows. So they have big dividers.
Right.
Approximately 56 inches. So we have 4 56-inch panels. The signs are bigger than that.
Oh, okay. You're going
So,
to have signs, though.
I'm thinking we have one that we kept trying to put somewhere, and it's a heavy one, so that wasn't working either. So I'm thinking we're going to have something painted on the windows like we did before.
Okay.
I mean, even if it's removable, that's what we had, one of them at the other building, because that one was on the facade. Remember a couple weeks ago, we were talking about having the signage that is at an angle on Main Street so people can
People can see the business
businesses.
signs, yeah.
That's, I think, what we should have.
Okay.
Type of
'Cause
thing.
I figured a newspaper going incognito and not being seen.
Yeah,
yet
we're
by-
kind of, we're here, but
Yeah.
don't look for us.
Right.
We're hiding. So yeah, that's that's part of the new plants coming
Good.
up.
Great.
All right. I don't know if you heard yesterday, but the Rhode Island Commerce has unveiled their new tourism campaign.
Yes. I heard about
Dan
this
McKee
one.
says tourism remains one of the state's top economic drivers. So then, have you heard, Sue?
Yes and
All
no. I should have paid closer attention as I served on the board of directors with the Blackstone Valley Tourism.
Well, the
This
new
is a wonderful slogan, almost as good as the one from the past.
almost as good as Cooler and Brighter or whatever that one
Okay,
was.
this
Cooler
I
and
have to
warmer.
hear.
This one is just all that. And
How much money are we paying these
oh.
people to come up with these ideas?
I don't know, but Rhode Island, Visit Rhode Island will be a partner in the campaign, and it will cost the state an estimated $482,000. Not to just come up with that, but to now you got to send out, you got to make videos, and you got to buy ad time in other states to say come to Rhode Island this summer. But not the problem, but the situation. I've already seen it. It's already started on social media. All that, you got to be kidding. It's all that road construction. It's all that cones in the road. It's all that corruption. Are you kidding?
I liked it better when we had mobsters and lobsters.
Oh, that was a great one.
Yeah, right.
Okay, there's three of us in the room.
Yeah.
Now, do you think that the three of us, if we were paid half of that, only
Come up with
$200,000,
something else?
could come up with something that would be a little bit more winning than what they've had for the last two campaigns? And the last campaign, wasn't that where they also took the photographs of the kid doing the
the wrong
skateboarding
place,
in
yes.
Reykjavik, Iceland?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a disaster right from the get go.
So let's hope we don't have to say marketing group.
Yeah. So
All right. We could. What? Are we a marketing group?
I am.
there you go.
Wow.
That's
I
right.
am
We've got a foot in
Yeah.
the door. We have an expert here.
in Rhode Island, from Rhode Island.
But yeah, they would have paid an advertising company, an ad agency, to sit around a table and throw ideas up on the board. And which one do we like
Wait,
best? And
I
they
can
said,
get us incorporated
We got all that
overnight.
Yeah.
So the three of us are going to become an ad agency, a
Oh,
corporation.
all right, there we go. Yeah, you're our lawyer, so start that up.
Great.
So
And I think part of and I'm not in agreement with those two words,
All right.
all that, that's stupid. But they try some of these marketing agencies, advertising agencies, try to come up with these quick words
It's
that
gotta be-
people will remember.
And grab
You-
onto.
But
Yes.
you want them to remember them in a positive
Yeah.
way. And it has to start with the residents of the state.
All
your
I can
marketing.
think of when they're sitting around, they're saying Rhode Island's got all that. Well, we're going to shorten it. I don't know why. And then when they're going to put a video together, okay, we're going to show the beach, and we're going to show the
Narragansett
Nantucket
Towers.
and we're going to show the Block Island Ferry.
Yep.
On a beautiful sunny day.
Yep.
And maybe we show the Blackstone River and Slater Mill in Pawtucket, and we show the arts in Providence and kind of like that. So promoting that we have all
All
that.
that.
I don't know if
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to work, but that's what we're going with this time round.
Great.
Bob's so unimpressed.
I'm
Well,
not
I
impressed.
think maybe something, and I don't have two words. I'm just saying, Rhode Island has culture to cruises. You know what I'm saying? It makes more sense even. And I
That's
just
good.
threw that out there then, because now you're saying, people have culture. I was talking to a nurse at Rhode Island Hospital that is in from another state, traveling nurse. And I told her, call the Blackstone Valley Tourism, because she likes trying, different foods, different countries' food. Well, Pawtucket has a phenomenal thing. That was on the we were talking about it right here, with the little bag and the passport to try all these places. So I think the people from the state of Rhode Island have to be the ambassadors of your own state and in directing people to where you need to go. But when you say, yeah, our slogan is all that, it's kind of like, what?
Yeah. All right, we're going to take another break here on the Coffee Ann program. And this portion of Coffee Ann has been sponsored by the Blackstone Valley Call-in-Times. The weather forecast being brought to you by Unbound.org.
Mostly sunny skies today with a high of 44 degrees and a calm wind. Tonight, there's a chance of freezing rain before 1 a.m., then changing over to regular rain. Only a 30% chance, but it'd be nasty if it happens. Otherwise, mostly cloudy with a low around 30 degrees. Friday's weather, rain, mainly after 9 a.m., patchy fog before 8 a.m., high of 46, winds from the south, 90% chance of a quarter of an inch of rain all day. Friday night, 60% chance of rain continuing and winding down with gradual clearing. Saturday, sunny with a high of 33. Sunday, sunshine and 39. Monday, partial sunshine and 49. Tuesday, partly sunny sky and 50 degrees. And then on Wednesday, rain is likely, cloudy skies and 57 degrees.
Currently outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Ave and Kennedy Street, we do have sunny skies and 31 degrees.
You've heard it before. The world is getting smaller. Places you had to travel to years ago now seem right next door. It's no surprise, then, that all the communities of the Blackstone Valley have so much in common these days that we share common interests. Keeping up with this trend, the Blackstone Valley's two daily newspapers, The Call and The Times, have joined forces to cover the entire valley in one convenient newspaper. The Blackstone Valley's Call and Times, a paper for the entire valley. At your local store, honor box, or home delivery, 767-8522. Krakow Deli Bakery and Smokehouse offers authentic homemade Polish food to make your next meal real special. Try our many varieties of hot and fresh pierogi with onions and dirty sour cream, or pick up golubki, kielbasa, babkas, or some fresh rye bread. We also offer a large selection of specialty and imported goods. We're open Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays from 9 to 6, Wednesdays 9 to 5, and Saturdays 8 to 5. Follow us on Facebook to learn about our weekly specials. Located at 855 Social Street in Woonsocket, Krakow Deli Bakery and Smokehouse has all the authentic Polish foods you love.
Hi, I'm Kathleen LaValle at The Honey Shop. Check out our Facebook page at The Honey Shop RI, and there you'll see a whole list of our new classes and lots of fun things to do. You could join us for making limoncello, pizzas, pasta making, cheese making, so many fun things to do and learn.
Thanks, Kathy. Folks, if you love food, you'll love the Honey Shop, right behind the Dunkin' Donuts at Park Square in Woonsocket.
Hey, it's ON Radio's Cruisin' Bruce Palmer, and I'd love to have you join me every Saturday for the Saturday Block Party. We start at 4 o'clock when I open up the ON Music Vault. for you to pick whatever you want to hear or send to somebody special. Yes, the good old radio request days are back. Join me for the Saturday Block Party, Saturdays from 4 until 7 on ON Radio and streaming online at woonsocketradio.com.
It's Coffee Ann on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan along with Sue Tesser McKenzie from the Blackstone Valley Call-in-Times and attorney Bob Lauder. And Bob, it's time for first message from your law office, please.
Good morning. Thank you. This is attorney Bob Lauder. Last week, after proofreading my commercials, and yes, my assistant proofreads the commercials for content and comprehension, she has no control over how badly I read them to you. She asked if the Rhode Island Supreme Court ever overturns decisions of any lower courts. The answer is yes. This morning, I'd like to talk to you about two recent Rhode Island Supreme Court cases where the court did not approve the actions taken in the lower courts. The first case is that of Barnes versus Hodes, and it involved an unusual fact situation. Two women were seriously injured in a motor vehicle accident, but neither of them could remember who was operating the motor vehicle. At the scene, a syringe containing traces of opioids was found in the car owned by one of the women, and the other woman, who was badly injured, filed a claim against the owner. The owner filed a counterclaim alleging that the accident was due to the negligence and intoxication of the other woman. One of the parties engaged the services of an expert witness who opinioned in a deposition that it was not possible to determine whether or not the head trauma of one of the parties was caused by the accident or arose as a result of the controlled substances. However, during the deposition, the witness changed his opinion, and after the deposition, the injured party learned that the expert witness had been taking medication for cancer, which caused confusion on his part. The party filed a motion to replace the expert witness, and the trial court denied the motion. Upon appeal to the Rhode Island Supreme Court, the Supreme Court ruled that the trial court had erred and failed to provide a reasoned excuse for its exercise for its discretion, which required some explanation. The order of the court denying the motion to replace the witness was quashed, and the case was returned to the trial court with instructions to conduct a meaningful analysis of the issues raised, consistent with the opinion of the Supreme Court. If you'd like to discuss legal matters with me, please contact my office for an appointment. My name is Bob Lauder. My telephone number is 762-4550. And the disclaimer, Supreme Court of Rhode Island licenses all attorneys in the general practice of law. The court does not license or certify any attorney as an expert or specialist in any field of practice. Thank you.
I could have been a better witness on that one.
Probably could.
I most certainly could.
The two women couldn't remember who was driving the car?
Right.
How high do you have to be?
Or badly injured. It was apparently a pretty
Alright.
catastrophic
Right.
accident.
Oh, was it? Okay.
And they were both badly hurt.
How about fingerprints on the steering wheel?
That would long have passed by the time they got to the civil litigation.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
All right. Let's see. Other things going on. The
Wait, one question.
Oh, shoot.
Couldn't anybody see which one was in the what seat?
They must have been out of the car.
I would imagine they probably were thrown from the vehicle or something like that. Yeah.
Wow. All right. The up in Worcester, the police department up there has donated the 5 horses to other police departments. 2 of the horses are going to the University of Massachusetts in Amherst. One's going to Columbus, Ohio, and one is coming to Providence, Rhode Island.
Really?
The
Are they-
5th horse is just being retired.
Are they giving up their horse patrol entirely?
Yes. Yeah. According to the police chief up there, they have disbanded the mounted unit last year because it's going to save the department $160,000 for care and upkeep of the horses, I guess.
Now, do they still have a horse unit down in Providence? Because I remember
Yes.
seeing them at various times.
You see them at parades.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And things like that. But they bring them out for usually if there's some kind of fracas going on at
They've
Providence
been-
Place Mall.
I want to say they've been at the like Federal Hill Columbus Festival. I believe that's where I saw them. I know I saw their dog there.
I know a few years ago I used to see them frequently down on the Westminster Mall, Washington Street area, just with normal patrols.
Yep. So they still use them. So,
Great.
So they got a free horse.
Good.
Pretty sweet for them. They didn't have to go out and buy one. So
Well, yes, but they also have to take care of the
I know, but the initial purchase of the horse is that part they don't have to worry about, and it's trained. You know, we don't have to train
You
the
don't
horse.
have to
The horse knows
spend
what
extra
to do.
to train, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so good for them. Now, The governor, Dan McKee, he's requested that the head of the Rhode Island State Police investigate why a man charged with felony child molestation was released, despite being wanted by federal immigration authorities. I heard this. ICE called over and say, hang on to this guy. We want him. And then they let him go. Due to some kind of snafu.
Did ICE contact the courts before he was released, or was it afterwards? I think there'd be a timing issue there.
Yeah. From what I believe, they contacted him while he was still incarcerated. I thought they contacted the state police.
All right.
Just to say hang on to him. The suspect, identified as Manuel Garcia de la Cruz, he's from Guatemala. He was arrested in March of 2022, released on bail despite a notice from U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Peter Norona, the Attorney General, responded that prosecutors tried to hold de la Cruz and blamed a district court judge for letting him go. De la Cruz is 38, was arrested again earlier this month and will face a hearing on Friday. So they got him back in, but they want to know what's going on and how could this happen and why and who's to blame for this.
I have no idea. So I don't know if the prosecutors made that clear to the judge, if the judge determined that whether or not if the judge had the information, he still might have felt that it was appropriate to release the individual on bail.
Yeah. Maybe he just got wrong information or bad information.
It's all that.
It's all that.
It's all that.
You are good. You know that.
That's gonna take off like wildfire, Sue. All right.
That's quick thinking. Yeah.
Jill Biden was in Massachusetts yesterday.
Great.
The First Lady. First Lady Jill Biden announced a $100 million commitment towards women's health care research during a visit to Cambridge.
What does that mean in reality?
Let's see. I'm not sure. She was appointed by the president to lead the White House initiative on women's health research. And the announcement is part of that effort. She says many women leave the doctor's office with more questions than answers, and that must change. Well, Sue is the only woman on the panel. Do you think that's true?
I guess it can be, but if you're not being heard by your doctor, get a new doctor.
Get a new doctor.
I mean, with all the medical I deal with my husband, I had a neurologist say, hey, Ron, stand up and walk. And he did. He was going a little to the right. That was just a few months after he got out of the hospital. And the neurologist looked at me and said, well, what more do you expect? Dude, are you kidding me right now? So he's not a neurologist any longer.
Oh, okay. That's a good one.
It was a one phone call deal. It was telehealth because of
Yeah.
COVID.
So we're moving
So
on to
you
somebody
move
else.
on. Yeah, you. It's your body. You know what you feel like. Don't be taking meds unless you read the good, the bad, and the ugly. People don't realize you're taking a med for this, but it may heighten this. I just went through it, Ciprol, a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
Ciprol has a black box. You need to know those things.
On the $100
So I don't know what the
million,
$100 million is going to do. I don't
Okay,
have this. I don't have the specifics of how this is going to help.
All right.
I should have gone to Cambridge last night and listened to her.
And got more details.
Yeah, but if you're going to Cambridge last night, would you be back here with us this morning?
Probably not. So.
Okay. Be Sue and I alone?
Right.
Is that going to be
Well,
much
he wouldn't
different
be
from what we
back
do?
here if you came back via 124 to 195. He wouldn't be back here.
Oh, that's right. The bridge would be a problem. All right. I know Bob's going to go to court. That's why he's in a suit.
Okay.
So
when I show up dressed well,
that's how he knows. So we'll get one more message from Bob, and then Bob can be on his way.
Thank you. Good morning. This is Attorney Bob Lauder. The second case I'd like to discuss you this morning, involving the overturn by the Rhode Island Supreme Court of a decision entered in a lower court, is that of Bennett versus Steglia, and it was decided by the Supreme Court in December of last year. In the Bennett case, the plaintiff and defendant had entered into agreement for the purchase by the plaintiffs of real estate owned by the defendant. The real estate transaction soured, and the plaintiffs filed a complaint seeking a declaratory judgment against the owners, as well as damages for breach of contract, anticipatory repudiation, estoppel, fraud, fraudulent misrepresentation, fraudulent inducement, and an injunction. After receiving the defense of the owner of the real estate, the plaintiff filed a motion seeking a summary judgment on the subject of the declaratory judgment and anticipated repudiation, and seeking an order that the defendant immediately sell the real estate to the plaintiff. A motion for summary judgment is basically a motion wherein one of the parties alleges that there are no justiciable differences in fact between the parties, and since there is no dispute as to the facts of the case, a judgment should be granted in favor of the moving party immediately, without the need for further trial. The trial justice ruled that the owners had entered into a contract and granted the motion of the plaintiffs. The trial justice said that whether the plaintiffs who had orally indicated they were backing out of the contract remained a disputed fact, but it was not material to the issue of summary judgment. Upon appeal, the state Supreme Court ruled that the trial justice had missed a step in the analysis. The Supreme Court has previously ruled that even where a party proves unsuccessful on its merits, justiciable issues may yet exist. It ruled that the impotence of the defendant's legal representations and arguments do not erase the justiciable issues of fact she raised in response to the plaintiff's motion for summary judgment. And while the plaintiffs may prevail on some of their issues for summary judgment, the decision of the Superior Court with respect to the specific performance was incorrect, and that issue must be returned to the court for an evidentiary hearing and specific findings of fact. If you'd like to discuss this or legal matters with me, please contact my office for an appointment. My name is Bob Lauder. My telephone number is 762-4550. And the disclaimer: the Supreme Court of Rhode Island licenses all attorneys in the general practice of law. The court does not license or certify any attorney as an expert or specialist in any field of practice. Thank you.
All right, Bob. Well, thanks for coming in this week.
Thank you very much for
Appreciate
inviting
it.
me. Hope to see you both next week.
Go enjoy yourself at court. Tell them we say hi.
I will do so.
All right, more Coffee and coming up. Stay tuned. All things vintage and collectible can be found at Timeless Antiques and Collectibles. The 3,000 square foot store is packed with unique treasures from days gone by, including rare coins, vintage jewelry, and much more. Whether you're a serious collector or just looking for a one-of-a-kind gift, Timeless Antiques and Collectibles has something for everyone. Frank and Tammy Irwin are always on hand to answer your questions and help you find exactly what you're looking for. And with new items arriving regularly, you'll never know what kind of gem you'll discover. Visit Timeless Antiques and Collectibles, 91 Main Street, Woonsocket, next to the Call Building today, and step back in time.
This is Dan Gendron. As you know, I'm running for Woonsocket City Council in the March 5th special election. As part of the campaign, I'm inviting you to join me at the Woonsocket Elks Hall on Social Street, Wednesday, February 28th at 6 p.m. for a good old-fashioned Woonsocket Beer and Dynamite rally. We're suggesting a $25 donation at the door, and you can pay with cash, but checks are better, made out to Friends of Daniel M. Gendron.
Paid for Friends of Daniel M. Gendron.
Hi, everyone. This is Bill Schneck with the Autumn Fest Steering Committee. I am very happy to announce that on Thursday, February 22nd, there will be a benefit dinner at Cello's Restaurant, 490 Clinton Street, here in Woonsocket. Take your family out to dinner at Cello's or order takeout to enjoy at home from Cello's, and up to 20% of your dinner order value, excluding tax and tip, will be donated to Autumn Fest, Inc. Please pick up your free Autumn Fest dinner certificates for Cellos at this radio station, WOON Radio, 985 Park Avenue here in the city, or any member of the Autumn Fest Steering Committee. One certificate will cover your entire group. Certificates will not be available at Cellos that night. I look forward to seeing you and your family down at Cellos Restaurant for dinner on Thursday night, February 22nd. And as always, I greatly appreciate your ongoing support of Autumn Fest. Thank you very much.
All right, it is Coffee In on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. I'm Joe Callahan here with Sue Tessier-McKenzie from the Blackstone Valley Call-in-Times. Bob Lauder had to go, but Dave Richards is going to fill in nicely. Hello, good morning to you there, Dave.
Oh, hello there. I was
seen you
just
in
chatting with
45
my friend
minutes.
Sue, and the mics went on. What can I say?
That's right. So I don't know if you heard yesterday.
Where is Vanna White, by the way?
She's got the day off.
Oh, okay.
In Alabama,
Don't know who that was, but
the Alabama Supreme Court ruled yesterday that frozen
day before,
embryos
day before.
are considered children. Mm-hmm. Okay, so they just make this statement. All right. The vice president has ringed in.
Well, she has to because the Democrats are all up in arms.
Vice President Kamala Harris says the Alabama Supreme Court ruling that frozen embryos are considered children is, quote, outrageous. Last week's ruling said embryos created during in vitro fertilization are, quote, extra-uterine children, unquote, and in Alabama are legally protected like any other child. Wednesday, Harris said the ruling was outrageous and was already, quote, robbing women of the freedom to decide when and how to build a family, unquote. The White House on Tuesday called the ruling the type of chaos that they expected when the Supreme Court overturned Roe versus Wade. Are we robbing women of freedom if we're calling the embryos children? I don't quite see how, but...
Well, I think I was trying to think of that question myself. How is it robbing? But I think maybe it's what if they choose not to have?
It's political.
Well, no, that goes without saying. But I'm saying
You
what
can't get
I think
anybody
that-
upset unless you say someone's being hurt.
But what if they decide they don't want to have children? Their spouse is killed in a motor vehicle accident, and they decide they don't want to move forward with having children. Well, now what do they do with the embryos? So that's the only thing I can think of. I don't know if that's.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Because
The only thing I can tell you, because my wife and I went through this, and we had to sign a paper at some point. They were going to keep the embryos for like a year.
yeah.
And what would you like to do? What do you want to do with them after a year? And I think we just said, well, it's been a year, and I think she got pregnant anyway. It was just okay. Get rid of them.
He thinks she got pregnant.
I know, right?
I'm trying to put the timeline
Right, exactly.
together and say, yeah, that did happen.
Now we're sure.
Yeah, now we're sure. Okay, so but I think in mass, I guess it's okay.
How many kids do you have?
I think 2.
I know people that went that
Yeah.
route and wound up adopting because it wasn't
Okay.
working,
Mm-hmm.
and then got pregnant.
Yeah.
Oh
shortly
gosh, yeah,
thereafter.
that's fairly commonplace.
Yeah, exactly.
So they're not happy with Kamala Harris is not happy with Alabama. So
Well, she can't be because she's
she's got
got
to take the Democrat
continued
side.
political aspirations, and she's got to do the party line.
Okay.
This is going to be a thing with party politics. Anything that a Republican wants or ever wanted or ever got accomplished is evil, and that's the way it's going to be. And okay,
Is it a
and
Republican
it's a
Supreme
thin
Court
argument
in
to me.
Alabama?
But no, there's if you want to get into the weeds on this, then fine. You're going to end up having really silly discussions like 2 eggs over easy. Is it a chicken? Well, it's just the egg. If it was a fertilized egg, then you wouldn't be eating it. So it can't be just an egg. You know what I'm saying?
This
Yeah, you're gonna
discussion
get
could
into
go
the
on and
weeds
on,
this.
right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. You're going to end up with a lot of heartburn
A lot of nonsense.
just discussing it, and you're going to end up in the same darn place. Yeah, you're going to be with
When you started.
abortion.
Yeah.
You know, I couldn't do it myself. I pray for anybody who has to make the decision, and I thank God I don't have to. And that's all I can say, because all I can say is, what's for me, and I don't want to be yucking somebody else's yum. And if somebody wants that and they want that in their life, and well, I'll pray for them because they may be wrong.
How about this story?
Moving on.
Moving on.
I told you got to get it in the weeds.
I know.
Don't get in the weeds. You've got like 6 minutes here. You could have gotten away scot-free.
I know. A mother from Memphis, Tennessee, is
Mother from Memphis.
is facing charges.
Would that be Mrs. Presley?
No.
Oh, okay.
After posting a picture of her young child helping the mom at a waxing salon, and she's going to be due in court today. Now, 30-year-old Jasmine Moss was arrested and charged with child neglect and abuse after the picture that she took showed her daughter waxing a client. This went viral and prompted numerous complaints. The child is 5.
Okay.
Who would even do that?
On the social media post, Moss said her 5-year-old helped wax nearly 24 nude customers at the salon. This goes back to doctors almost. If you're going to get waxed, Sue, and in comes the waxer with their 5-year-old child saying the 5-year-old's going to help me, are you going to say, "Hang on a minute"?
No.
First of all, it's hot.
No.
And why is the 5-year-old helping?
No.
And I guess they did it with
No.
with
Well, you
more
know,
than one customer.
increasing numbers of parents are having to make a decision about bringing their offspring to work.
I was going to
because
jump in before you even
because they don't
said
have
that.
child care.
Guess what? If I had to bring my child to work, which I did many times because of my limo business, I didn't let them drive the limo. It was
point. Good
obviously
point, Sue.
unsafe. My children had to come with me to the garage. I can remember little Alex
Yeah.
in those little, I mean, at the time you could still get the roller walkers.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
I mean, yeah, I was on an airport runway, but the limos, but he was there. And, I would tie him a certain length so he couldn't go certain
Yeah, sure.
distance. But just because I had to bring him to work didn't mean I had to let him do my job. So that makes zero sense.
So and so maybe the
Sorry
child
to cut you right off on that one, David, but
Not me. You really didn't.
so maybe the child has showed an interest, and this is what I would do when I grow up. And a lot of kids make their decision when they're very young. All right, and maybe they will do this when they grow up, but having them practice on real clients who
No.
are spending real
No.
money, it sounds like such a liability if
they
something
can
goes
watch
wrong.
mommy maybe do the eyebrow waxing, the whatever the above lip waxing. There's a
Okay.
certain name for it. They can. She could have allowed her daughter to watch her do that and let her practice on herself, for her
On her
mother,
dolly.
on mom. Let mom be the
Well,
guinea pig.
Practice on the dolly.
They were
There's
working.
no way.
Those are not the parts of the body they were waxing.
Oh, of
on the
course
clients.
not.
It was somewhere a little south of there.
But that's what I'm saying. That's the route they should have taken if
Okay.
you're trying to educate
And
your
so
daughter.
society is going to educate the mom where the line is because
I guess.
mom didn't get taught where the line was
She
before.
missed the memo.
All right.
Maybe mom's parents didn't tell her where the line was.
She's probably thinking, "What's the big deal?"
But obviously crossed the line.
Yeah.
I think everybody's agreeing on this.
I think so.
Except
All
the
right.
5-year-old.
No,
They
what's
thought they
the
were
wrong-
having a whale of a lot of fun.
I'm doing a great job. What's the problem?
Yeah. Mommy likes me when I did this. Okay.
New York is at the top of the list when it comes to sports betting revenue in the country.
Well, I mean,
That's
look
according
at
to the American Gaming
population.
Association. They took in nearly $1.7 billion last year. New Jersey came in second with about $1 billion in
Well,
sales.
New Jersey's just New York wannabes, right?
That's what they say. When it comes to casino gambling, the Vegas Strip is still king, raking in nearly $9 billion. Atlantic City came in at $5.77 billion. So sports betting is...
and sports betting used to be just a tiny little room with a bunch
Yeah,
of
now
TV
it's-
screens.
Now
up,
they
you
have
know?
their own casino.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. And wait till all the money that was bet on the Super Bowl, but wait till March Madness. That's gonna be
Right.
That's
And did
that's
you
another
hear
heavily
now
bet.
in Rhode Island there is a move afoot in the legislature under the Marble Dome that they want to now decriminalize all this wagering going on. Friendly bets on the Super Bowl, friendly bets at March Madness. They want to decriminalize this in
Okay.
Rhode Island. I don't know if you have an opinion on that. You want
Why
to talk
was it
about that.
criminalized
Well, I
in the
was-
first place? If you're playing that, what's that game there?
The squares?
Squares.
Yeah, technically it's gambling, so technically it's against
It's
the law.
illegal, right?
Also, technically against the law is 5 people sitting around a table playing poker
Yeah.
for nickels and dimes.
Yeah.
Technically, it is illegal.
It is. And the state police for time immemorial has gone and decided if they can determine where and when someone is playing a bracket game for March Madness or an office pool at some place where they're not going to get in terrible political trouble for raiding it. But they always make at least one raid early on in March Madness. Get it on the TV and the radio. Get it in the newspapers.
Yeah, we're working on it.
and get in the social media that, by golly, you can't do this. It's illegal, and this is the trouble you get in, and that sort of. And they do it once a year,
But
every beginning March.
But the squares are illegal. But if you do an office pool to pool the money,
That's because
to go-
the squares, and they may still be illegal after this. But the differentiation is the squares are organized, not a simple off the cuff bet, and they are with non-friends.
Well, how come then you can take up an office pool and run down to Cumberland Farms and buy a Mega Millions ticket?
Not legal.
It's not legal to do that.
It's not legal to have an office pool.
But then But then you always hear,
If
this,
you
this,
have-
this office
If you have
has
several
won.
friends
This 20 people have
that
won.
form a cooperative to purchase tickets, that's not an office pool.
Say that again.
Whatever their connection is,
It's a technical term. You
Yeah.
used the term
Yeah, you
pool
said
your
pool.
money.
Yes.
So
don't
forget
say
that word.
no. You have
Everybody
that is
pitched
a
in.
cooperative of
right.
friends
Wow.
who organize for the sole intent of purchasing a ticket that's legal.
Usually more than one.
Overtly legal in the
It is.
jurisdiction. And so, yeah, then
like the same to
that's
me.
fine. But if you had a pool to decide who gets the money if this ticket wins, and
no,
it
it's
wasn't
just-
equally distributed, if you had
Oh,
a
no, it's-
pool
yeah.
or a drawing to decide who gets the money if this ticket wins, then that's against law.
All right. It's usually distributed evenly.
Prize, consideration, and chance.
All right.
And whatever the Rhode Island law says.
All right. We got to run. We thank Bob Lauder for coming in earlier
Thank you,
for
Bob.
today.
I
Sue,
needed the time off.
Sue, thanks for coming in today.
Thanks for having me.
All right. And Dave, thanks for showing up.
It's a pleasure to
All
be
right.
with my good friends here.
This is Joe Callahan. Have a great day, everyone. Stay tuned for Gary Smith and the Do You Remember crew coming up at 9:30.
Oh, they got a real great show coming
On
up. I
ON
can
Radio.
feel it in my bones. Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON Woonsocket Radio. And now, the news. Rhode Island State Senator Frank Lombardo III has passed away at the age of 65. The Senate announced Lombardo's death with the cause said to be bladder cancer. The six-term Democrat lawmaker was recalled with respect